All right, guys. I don't know if the overlay is working. We're trying a new intro video. It doesn't look like it came to life just yet. But welcome to the Zero to Hero Alive, where we are all about helping you chase the next best version of yourself. My name is Mike Feld. I own the #1 book creation service on the planet. We've done over 160 books in the past 4 years. And if you're really crazy, look at his book, Confessions and Lessons of a Sexpert. For you sickos out there, you're sick. Look at this guy. Picked up by Hay House Publishing. Aaron, if you're out there, you're the man, dude. Anyway, check out this. One of our newest books, Rising in America by Alex Rezende. Solid dude, based out of Texas. Was down there for the Lamborghini Festival. We brought the camera crew, Jean-Claude Van Damme. You're going to be seeing a lot of him on these lives. But what we're talking about today is Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book that changed my life. And if it changed your life, or if you read it, or if you have something to share about it, please call on this number, 844-266-HERO. When we're talking about books, we're talking about heroes, and we want to do it with some flair. So let's not keep this boring, huh? This is not about a boring book club out there. I've seen a lot of those, all right? We're trying to change it, give it a little bit more of an exciting feel. The book that changed my life was Rich Dad Poor Dad in, I don't know exactly what year it was, 2006. I was 21 years old. My mentor at the time, who was a multimillionaire, all right? And I used to think he was the richest guy in the world, that type of thing. You know, when you work for an employer who you look up to, he drives the fancy cars, he dates the pretty women, he has the cool house, he's got the businesses, people look up to him, you know, and then you meet people who make what he makes in a year and they make in a week, you know? So it's sort of like, oh, wow, there's people out there making serious money. So hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We're really testing a lot of new stuff out recently. And I don't know if the overlay intro video did work, but hopefully it did. And if it did, it's phenomenal. And I think you're going to like this stuff that you're going to see more and more and more. But if you're out there and you read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, it got my mind thinking in the direction of, hey, let me be an entrepreneur. I was a finance major at Duquesne University. And here we go. Hello, this is Mike. You're on with Zero to Hero Live. Hey, Cedric, what's up, man? I'm doing well, dude. You're on live right now. Oh, it's all right. Wait a second. Hold on for a second. I know I got it around here. Dude, I got 160 of them, man. I don't got room for these books anymore. Wait a second. Wait. Are you watching right now? Check this, dude. Right here, Cedric Penn. I'm on the phone with the Cedric Penn, one of the top, I guess you could say, network marketers, right? Multi-level marketers out there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I remember we first met years ago, and you were the first guy. I was one of your first clients, I think.
Yeah.
To get rolling.
You were the guy that.
What you've been able to do for me.
Dude, you were one of the first people to ever trust me with this business, and you're from Pittsburgh, but you were in Atlanta at the time.
Yes, sir, I was.
So this book right here, check it out. He has 2 of them out there. Broke, Busted, and Disgusted was your first one, and then we have the Millionaire's Guide right here, Cedric Penn. Holy smokes, dude! So awesome to hear from you. It's been a year, man.
But I've seen you growing. You're doing a lot of great things, and I just want to say congratulations on what you're doing. And a lot of people are looking to you to help them, and you've been doing a great job with it. So I just want to say congratulations to you. Your hard work is definitely paying off. So I just want to say thank you for all you've done for me and a lot of other people out there in the world today. So keep up the great work, Mike.
Thank you very much, Cedric. And let's get connected after this. So let's meet up for coffee or something soon.
All right, let's do it. Take care, man.
Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it, man. That's Cedric Penn right there. One of the most solid dudes that I met on Instagram, I think, of all places. And then it led to Facebook. And then I realized he was from Pittsburgh, but he was in Atlanta. We helped him write his book, The Millionaire's Guide. That was totally non-scripted. So, that's phenomenal right there. So if you have any interest in business development or network marketing, check out Cedric Penn. Super smart dude. I'll put his name down below. So anybody else out there, if you read the book, we got a Facebook user. We're using StreamYard right now, so I can't exactly see who's messaging just yet. Let me see if I can pull up on my.
That was totally non-scripted. So
yeah, we got all kinds of comments coming in here. So hey, what's up, guys? Thank you very much. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube Live right now. We're on Periscope. We're trying to get on LinkedIn Live. That's a lot more work than expected. So 7 different pages right now. So I can't see where you're coming from, but I really appreciate it. Anyway, Cedric Penn, you're a good man. When I was 21, my mentor, I guess you could say, my employer, told me to read Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he brought this book to me and put it on my desk at the time because I was working in his office building. And he said, you got to read this book. Now, I did not like to read. I hated reading. I was not an avid reader whatsoever. And what happened was I started to read and realized this is the first time in my life I'm reading a business book. So in school, you're reading all this fiction garbage, all right? So I'm not a big fiction reader. It doesn't help me get anywhere. Might expand my creativity on certain levels, but I'm a big fan of non-fiction books because it's able to give me something that I can take and apply to my life. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there thinking exactly like me. I dated a girl who kept trying to say, listen, read fiction books. It just didn't do it for me, sister. I mean, it was, I don't know. It felt like a waste of time, even though it did do something, I think, for your mind, because we do look for fiction type writers for nonfiction aspects. But for some reason, it just didn't do anything. Anyway, I'm reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I started thinking like an entrepreneur for the very first time. They talk about the cash flow quadrant, where you go from the employee mindset to basically a solo entrepreneur to a business owner to an investor. So it started to open up my mind in that direction. And I don't know if anybody out there, comment down below what you got out of Rich Dad Poor Dad. But that was the first time I ever heard that stuff. And so then I started to get into real estate. At 23 years old, I got my own real estate license. All right. And then I'm thinking to myself, and I got to invest in a property. I bought a 4-unit building. Now, maybe take a step back to all this. But when I read, here we go. Noah Brandy, you are on Zero to Hero Live.
Mike Fallon, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, I am so fired up. I heard the topic you were going to talk about, and I said, I got to plug in.
Yes, sir. We're talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, man, and I believe you're one of the big entrepreneurs in Pittsburgh. You've read this book, right?
Absolutely. You got to start with it. It really helps you understand where you are, in this world in terms of how far away from wealth you are, and I was sitting in the top left as the employee, and what I realized was I just didn't understand, nor was I taught in college how to leverage, right?
Absolutely.
I was always taught, only how to tolerate being leveraged, and, Mike, the word hate has an extremely negative connotation alongside of it, and I'm here to tell you that you can use the word hate for good. What do I mean by that is, here's what I'm referring to. Like, I decided, and remember, folks, becoming an employee or becoming an entrepreneur is just a decision. So I decided to become angry and hate the fact that I was being leveraged, hate the fact that I was building someone else's dream, and hate the fact that I needed someone else's permission to build my relationship with my son on a Tuesday afternoon because I had to use a quote unquote vacation day or, a personal time to build my relationship with my son. I worked at that company for, 7 years as an engineer. It's a great company, but I look back at it now as an entrepreneur and I'm like, man, it took that business 86 years for them to leverage the work of 300 people at that company.
Good way to put that, man. Holy shit, that's a good way to put that.
It took them 86 years to leverage the work of 300 people. And because I made the decision to become an entrepreneur in 3 years, and 2.5 of those years being full-time entrepreneur after I fired my boss in 6.5 months, I have over 720 people that I'm leveraging to bring me more customers into my organization than that company had in over 86 years.
Yeah.
300
And I'd love for you to I'd love for you to talk about that. So you went from an employee as an engineer, you moved over to the right side of the cash flow quadrant. You became a business owner. You started leveraging the work of other people. And I told you this when I first met you that a third or even I guess 40%, maybe even 50% of my clients that are on this board here have some connection with network marketing. And I never really believed in it until I started to see my clients do it. So you started to kill it in network marketing. And tell us a little bit about maybe some things that worked for you and what you recommend to others.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Honestly, that industry works. The documentation is out there. 192, $1 billion annual industry. It's out there. It works. Quit throwing around the words that everyone likes to use to prejudge it, and look at the people that are doing it. What I'll tell you is, I don't have the overhead that my business, owners did at my engineering job. I don't have the stress. I don't have the risk. I have 0 employees. Someone at my network marketing, corporate office is doing everything for us. All I have to do, and it's funny when people say, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" I say, "I do show and tell for a living." And they kind of giggle. They're like, "What do you mean you do show and tell?" I was like, "Yeah, you remember that thing we did in kindergarten? Yeah, I do that for a living." What do you mean? I said, "Well, look,
show and
I
tell.
show people another way of making money, a way of becoming an entrepreneur. And most people, it's a part-time basis. Maybe just something on the side they can just become comfortable, in their lives and financially with, and maybe get a little bit of time back. But I show them a way to do that, and then I tell stories of people that are having success, and that's all we do, and I'm so blessed by the network marketing industry pouring into me, because it all comes down to mentorship and coaching. My wife, we're real estate investors, so we're on both sides of the cash flow quadrant. We've not only both went on the leverage the work of other people business owner side, but we're investors. We have dozens of rental units. We have Airbnb units. We had a property management, business we actually just sold thanks to the success of the network marketing business. And, what I'll tell you is that's where I want to live until the day I die. That's where I want my kids to live. I don't want them to have to go the employee route. I don't want them to have to go the self-employed route. I want to stay on the right side of the quadrant, because that's where true time and money can come together as one.
Love it. And that's the thing, is like, you learned through investing in real estate, what it takes, whether it's the coaching, you spend a lot of money, the actual money up front to do it. And there's nothing, you absolutely love it. It's just that the barrier of entry is quite high compared to, like you said, network marketing. So there's people out there who make a ton of money in network marketing, and then they get their money working for them in real estate. And so that's where I talk about that with starting from zero. If you have no money, no connections, you got to expand your network first. And then you have a product and service that really you don't do any of the work for. You just connect the dots, and that's what you do.
Yeah, 100%, Mike. And, and it took me 17 years of my life to get a engineering degree. It took me, 100K in student loans and debt to get that engineering degree. And for, an entry fee to buy my own network marketing distributorship in my company was a $499 investment in 6.5 months. Was able to retire from corporate America. So, the cost of entry in network marketing sometimes is tremendous, because anyone can get involved, but it's also tough because people don't treat it as a multi-million-dollar opportunity. They treat it as $499.
Right.
And that's what they get out of it. So that's the key here is, really approaching anything that you do as that, listen, other people are doing it. I mean, my mentor made over $30 million in our business.
Amazing.
So, he's helped create over 80 millionaires in our business. And I'm on my way to becoming, the next one, story for him. And it's because you just got to find a right mentor, right coach, plug in with a system, and just create the duplication. And that's how people can be successful in network marketing. Just quit bringing your own ideas, plug in with the system, and work in the right track, and just run.
But it goes with that. It goes with the theme of today, where the mindset has to be right. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki talks about how you really do need to get your mind right before you can even think about properties, where you're going. That's where the entrepreneurial mentality that they don't teach in schools, you first have to soak that in through books like Rich Dad Poor Dad for you to really understand the power of being your own boss, or firing your boss and starting your own thing, right?
100%. I prided myself on the fact that I was able to get through school and mainly college without reading books.
Me too.
I was, very skilled at doing what is one of the most successful skill sets you can have in network marketing, which is copying. And, I was able to get through it, though. And, when I came into network marketing, my mentor said, hey, you should probably read some of these personal development books. And he put, Rich Dad, Poor Dad is one of the books he put in my hand, and many others. That right there started to really just change the way that I did things. And initially I did it on audio, and then really just something about getting a hard copy book in my hand, just changed it for me, highlighting it, going back to it, referring to it. Personal development is, you will never, your income will never exceed your personal development. So if you're not growing every single day, neither is your bank account.
That's a huge quote there, man. How are you watching were you seeing on Facebook or YouTube Live? If whatever you're on, put your name down below and tag you, okay?
I will. I'll plug on. I'm not on it right now. I just gave you a quick phone call because I'm getting ready to walk into a meeting, but I will definitely put it on there. I'll jump back on real quick, Mike.
Yep.
And I'll get it out there so that anyone has any interest, looking for other ways to make money. Me and Mike are partnered up and running like crazy with this. So we're here. We can help you walk through it. Excited for everyone that's making that decision to become an entrepreneur today.
That's it, man. Thanks so much, Noah. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
That's it, man. It's all you got to do. Think like an entrepreneur. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the one book that changed my life, many of my clients' lives. It just seems to pop up in every interview that we do. And give you an idea, I interview people for 2 hours one day, 2 hours another day. We get their lessons, we get their stories, and we have a ghostwriter in the process of bringing it to life professionally. Now, another thing that stands out to Rich Dad, or for me from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is the fact that it was ghostwritten, okay? Sharon Lechter, if you're out there, you're the real writer. I know in court battles and all that, you got co-author on there. But for years, everybody thought Robert Kiyosaki actually sat down and wrote the book himself. It's not right. It's his stories and lessons brought to life professionally by Dr. Sharon Lechter. Brilliant individual, by the way. She's now part of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And here's another little trick out there, guys. Women are better writers, and that's why all of our writers are women. So that's one thing. The other part of it, it was self-published, okay? Not many people know this, but when it came out, Robert Kiyosaki was a millionaire. He was doing really well. So that he was able to fund a lot of it. This is back in the 90s, or I think it was early 90s, maybe 95. It was a different publishing world. Amazon's completely changed everything. So there are people out there who suck at life that say that self-publishing is not the way to go. Now, these people have 3 followers. They don't even have a business. They don't even know who they want to become. They don't even know what they are, what they believe. But these people out there are saying self-publishing is not the way to go. Now, I don't listen to people who have that type of mentality because they're not my heroes. And that's really the philosophy. Chase your heroes. Don't chase people. Chase people who've done what you've always wanted to do and what you want to accomplish in life. Don't chase people and listen to people who haven't done that. So that's number one. The other part of it is that there's always someone out there who's going to try to knock you off your pedestal, no matter how far you go. Robert Kiyosaki was told by many critics and even himself, holy smokes, who am I compared to Donald Trump? Donald Trump asked Robert Kiyosaki to do a book together. Now, Robert Kiyosaki was a millionaire. Donald Trump was a billionaire. Robert Kiyosaki felt inferior. His critics thought that he wasn't on the same level. And if he would have got those voices inside and listened to them, he would have said, I'm not going to work with Donald Trump on the next book, and his brand would suffer because of it. So no matter who you are, where you're at, you're always going to have those voices inside and externally. They're going to say, you're not at the next level to do anything significant, which is mind-boggling. But going back to the story, Rich Dad Poor Dad changed my life because once I read it, I'm like, I got to get into real estate. So what am I going to do? Let me go to the Rich Dad Poor Dad seminar. So I did the Rich Dad Poor Dad seminar. I went there for 3 days, got in for free. My buddy, John, we were huge entrepreneur-driven human beings, and we wanted to become the next Steve Jobs, even though I really didn't look up to Steve Jobs too much then. I don't know. I read a lot of stuff about how he was just an asshole. So I didn't really look up to him. I've later respected what he's done, but at that time I was like, let's create something crazy, So we went to Rich Dad Poor Dad, and we did the 3-day seminar. He joined up and did the actual program, which is like, I guess, $10,000. I did not. I got my real estate license, and I bought my first property. But on the third day of that event, something wild happened. So day 2, going into day 3, one of the speakers, and I believe his name was Pip. I don't know, Pip, if you're out there, message me, because this was huge. He said, everybody, before you come to day 3, raise your credit card limits. All right. Now, I know why he did that, I guess afterwards. But at the time, I was like, I'm just going to follow these people. These people seem to be pretty smart when it comes to investing in property. So I went and called my credit cards. I had a $34,000 a year job. My credit was good. I didn't have any property. There was really no debt. So I went and called. I got a bunch of credit cards, which I had 5 or 6 at the time, go from like 3,000 to 10,000 limit. Okay. Some of them went from 1,000 to 5,000. And I had a bunch of credit, now. I had 5 cards, probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that I could play with. And so I came there to the next day, and they wanted people to sign up using the credit that they just got approved for. Super smart, kind of a little shaky, but still. I didn't join up, so I just had credit to play with. Now, those credit increases saved my life. People talk about credit cards, how they're bad for you. Well, when you start a business, your credit's going to suffer. You're going to possibly almost go bankrupt. You're going to lose so much money. You just don't even know. And if you start a business and you did it on your own, you did a lot of things, out there. But my credit suffered so much. If I didn't have those credit card increases on that day, I'd be dead in the water. I'd have to go back to a job faster. Even though I had to pay off some debt, I'd have to go back faster. I would have to do certain things that I didn't want to do that avoided me from actually finishing a certain task, maybe paying someone back. Credit saved my life. When you're starting from zero, you're going to have to use other people's money somewhere. If you're in real estate, do you really think that people are using their own money? I mean, think about this. There are people out there who join network marketing companies. They use a credit card and they get it back right away. When you start from zero, you have to do a couple things that are not taught in schools, and one of which is using debt to your advantage. Now, I would not recommend everyone to go bankrupt or to use all their credit card. I'm just telling you that's what saved my life. So Rich Dad Poor Dad, the book, led to the event, got me thinking about real estate, got me the credit cards. All of a sudden, I'm off and running, got my real estate license, bought my first property. Now, as a property owner, basically, you have to put X amount of money down. At the time, it was a 4-unit building. FHA, first time home buying loan, you could put down for 3%. I joined Keller Williams. I got 3% back. So technically, it was a no money down transaction, technically. And then obviously you got to deal with the tenants and taking people to court and con artists. You get really smart over time. But Rich Dad Poor Dad launched me into entrepreneurship. So it wasn't just the book that gave me a whole new way of thinking. It gave me a vehicle. And anybody out there, if you're out there watching right now or anything, I'd love to hear what you have to say about Rich Dad Poor Dad, what you took from it, what you learned from it. We're going to be doing these. This is 12 o'clock Eastern time. We're doing on this Tuesday. I'm going to try to get it consistently either Wednesdays or Thursdays, but we got book interviews lined up all the way through mid-January right now. So I got phone calls to make, stuff to do, people to help with writing their book. If you need help with any of this stuff, maybe books out there outside of Rich Dad Poor Dad have changed your life. And I'd love to hear which ones. But nowadays, we're helping people write books that are changing their lives. Maybe, just maybe, the next Rich Dad Poor Dad, potentially the next Robert Kiyosaki that we're working with. So any questions, comment down below. My name is Mike Fallett, and I started from zero. Keep chasing your heroes out there, because if you keep chasing long enough, you might just catch them.